Outpost Meridian sat on the edge of nowhere, a medical station serving human colonists and the occasional trader willing to trust human medicine. Owen Clarke had been there 8 months, running from memories of Earth cities that reminded him of everything he'd lost. The emergency beacon shattered his quiet shift. Incoming critical trauma, species Threnari, life-threatening injuries. Owen's heart sank. Threnari, militaristic, imposing species with superior medical technology who viewed human medicine with suspicion at best, contempt at worst. They had long blade-like ears that detected threat frequencies, warrior culture that valued strength over vulnerability, and a history of tense relations with human colonies. The patient arrived on a damaged transport with 2 Threnari soldiers clearly terrified, not of the injuries, but of leaving their commander in human hands. Commander Zayra, high-ranking officer, dying. Energy weapon burns ravaged her torso. Severe hemorrhaging, respiratory compromise. Her long ears flat against her skull in pain, her breathing labored and wet. We need immediate transfer to Threnari medical facilities. One soldier demanded. Your transport is damaged, Dr. Kamara, the medical director, said carefully. Nearest Threnari station is 4 hours away. Then we wait. Owen checked Zayra's vitals. She doesn't have 4 hours. Maybe 30 minutes before cascade organ failure. Dr. Kamara pulled Owen aside. We're not equipped for Threnari physiology. If she dies here, it could trigger an interspecies incident. Maybe we should just stabilize and wait. She'll be dead before their medical team arrives. Owen looked at the commander, barely clinging to consciousness. I can try. You're a nurse, not a surgeon. We have minimal data on Threnari anatomy. We have xenobiology databases, trauma protocols, and a patient dying while we debate jurisdiction. Owen moved toward the operating bay. I'm treating her. Owen, you don't have authorization. The Threnari soldiers blocked his path, weapons visible. You will not touch our commander with your primitive medicine. Commander Zayra's voice, barely a whisper in broken galactic standard. Let him. Try better than dying waiting. The soldiers had no choice but to obey their commander's order. Owen scrubbed in, his hands steady despite terror screaming through his nervous system. Doctor. Kamara assisted reluctantly, convinced they were witnessing either a miracle or a disaster. Threnari biology fought him at every step. Standard coagulants didn't work. Their blood chemistry was radically different. Respiratory pathways had redundancies human lungs lacked. Pain responses were inverted. Sedatives caused agitation instead of calm. Owen adapted in real time, reprogramming medical nanites for alien cellular structures, adjusting imaging to compensate for anatomical differences, talking to Commander Zayra throughout. I'm sealing the primary hemorrhage now. This will hurt and I'm sorry. You're doing great, just stay with me. Her ears twitched toward his voice, the only sign she heard him. Hours blurred together. Every complication required improvisation. Her body treated human medical tools as foreign contamination. Owen worked partially blind through inadequate scans, using comparative xenobiology and desperate guesses. The Threnari soldiers watched through observation windows, weapons ready. If their commander died, Owen knew the consequences would be immediate and violent. But slowly, impossibly, she stabilized. Chapter 2. 7 hours after Owen started, Commander Zayra's vital signs shifted from critical to serious. The hemorrhaging stopped. Respiratory function improved to acceptable ranges. Her body's rejection of human medical interventions decreased as the nanites adapted to her cellular structure. Owen finally stepped back from the operating table, his scrubs soaked with sweat and Threnari blood that was darker than human, almost purple in the harsh lights. Dr. Kamara stared at him. That shouldn't have worked. By every statistical model, she should be dead. She's not. Owen's voice was flat with exhaustion. Move her to recovery, monitor for complications. I'll check on her in 2 hours. Owen, you've been operating for 7 straight hours. 2 hours. He stripped off his gloves and walked out before his legs could give out. In the staff room, Owen collapsed onto a chair and stared at his shaking hands. The adrenaline crash hit like a physical blow, nausea, trembling, the delayed realization of everything that could have gone catastrophically wrong. Dr. Kamara found him there 20 minutes later. "The Threnari soldiers want to speak with you. Tell them their commander is stable. That's all they need to know. They're not asking for medical updates. They're demanding to know who authorized you to operate on a Threnari military commander without proper credentials or permission." Owen looked up, too exhausted for diplomacy. "Their dying commander authorized it. That's the only permission I needed." "Owen, do you understand who she is? Commander Zayra leads the Threnari border forces. She's been involved in 3 military incidents with human colonies. There are people in colonial administration who'd prefer she didn't survive. Good thing I'm a nurse and not a politician then." Owen stood on unsteady legs. "I don't get to choose which lives are worth saving based on who they've fought or what flag they serve. She was dying. I had skills that could help. Everything else is noise." Kamara's expression softened. "That was either the bravest or most reckless thing I've witnessed in 30 years of medicine." "Can it be both?" "Usually is." Kamara managed a tired smile. "Get some rest. I'll monitor her recovery." Owen did rest, but only for 4 hours before his anxiety drove him back to check on his patient. Commander Zayra remained unconscious but stable, her long ears twitching occasionally, dreaming, Owen hoped, not suffering. The Threnari soldiers stood guard outside her room, speaking in their clicking language. When Owen approached, they fell silent, watching him with expressions he couldn't interpret. "Her vitals are improving," Owen said, checking the monitors. "If recovery continues at this rate, she should regain consciousness within 24 hours. One soldier, the larger one with scars marking his ears, spoke in heavily accented Galactic Standard. "You saved Commander. Why?" "Because she needed help and I'm a nurse. That's what we do. Threnari would not save human commander, would let enemy die." Owen met his gaze steadily. "Then maybe that's one difference between our species. I'm not interested in letting people die just because politics says I should." The soldier's ears angled forward, respect or confusion Owen couldn't tell. "You are strange human." "So I've been told." 36 hours post-surgery, Owen was adjusting Zayra's medication dosage when her eyes opened. Alert, focused, immediately scanning the room for threats. Their eyes met, the human nurse and the Threnari commander. "You're in Outpost Meridian's medical bay," Owen said calmly. "You were critically injured. I performed emergency surgery. You're stable now, but you need to rest and let your body heal." Zayra's voice was rough from intubation. "You operated on me, human nurse." Human nurse was all that was available. "Your transport was damaged. Nearest Threnari facility was 4 hours away, and you had maybe 30 minutes. So yes, human nurse did what needed doing." She studied him with eyes adapted to see in spectrums he couldn't perceive. "I should be dead. You almost were, several times, but you're stubborn and I'm persistent, so here we are. My soldiers, they permitted this. You ordered them to. Barely conscious, but you managed to tell them to let me try." Owen checked her vitals on the monitor. "Good thing too, or we'd be having this conversation in whatever afterlife Threnari believe in." Zayra's ears twitched, amusement. Owen would learn later. "You have strange bedside manner for medical professional. You have strange survival instinct for military commander, trusting enemy species with your life. You are not enemy. You are nurse." She winced, pain breaking through medication, though painful nurse. "Pain means you're alive to feel it. I'll take that as a win." Owen adjusted her medication. "This should help. You need rest. Your body went through significant trauma." "Why did you help me?" Zayra asked as Owen prepared to leave. "Your people and mine are not allies. Letting me die would be simpler." Owen paused at the door. "Simpler isn't the same as right. You needed help. I could provide it. That's all the justification I needed. He left before she could respond, but he felt her eyes following him, assessing, reevaluating, trying to reconcile his actions with whatever she'd been taught about humans. Outside, the scared soldier waited. "Commander Wakes, this is good." "Very good, she's strong, she'll recover." Owen started down the corridor. "Human nurse," the soldier called after him, "thank you for choosing to help when you could have chosen to abandon." Owen looked back. "That's not really a choice, not for me." But watching the soldier's ears angle in deep respect, Owen realized that for Threnari, it absolutely was a choice. And he'd chosen differently than they expected. Commander Zayra's recovery became a political firestorm. Threnari military command demanded explanations. Human colonial authorities worried about having a high-ranking enemy officer in their facility. News feeds across both territories debated the incident with varying degrees of outrage and speculation. Owen ignored all of it. His patient needed care, and politics could wait. He checked on Zayra 3 times daily, monitoring her healing, adjusting medications, teaching her exercises to rebuild strength. The Threnari soldiers maintained their vigil but grew less hostile, occasionally asking Owen medical questions about their commander's progress. "Your people are upset I saved you," Owen mentioned during a routine examination 5 days post-surgery. "My people are uncomfortable that I needed saving by human." Zayra's voice had strengthened, though movement still caused visible pain. "It challenges their beliefs about Threnari superiority." "How do you feel about it?" Grateful, confused, uncertain. Her ears angled thoughtfully. "We are taught humans are weak, that you value comfort over courage, that you abandon principles when tested. But you risked political incident, possibly your career, to save enemy commander. This does not match what I was taught." People are complicated. Species generalizations usually fall apart when you actually meet individuals. Owen checked her wound healing. Progress was remarkable given the severity. "Besides, you weren't an enemy commander to me. You were a patient who needed help. This is unusual perspective for human military facility." "This isn't military facility. It's medical station. Different rules apply." Hippocratic oath doesn't have exceptions for nationality or species. Owen smiled slightly. "Do no harm tends to be pretty universal. Threnari have no such oath. Healing is warrior skill, meant for our own people. Sharing it with outsiders is seen as weakness. That explains why your soldiers looked ready to shoot me when I started operating." Zayra's ears twitched amusement. "They expected you to fail or sabotage. That you succeeded and helped genuinely. This confuses them greatly." Over the following days, their conversations deepened beyond medical discussions. Zayra asked about Earth, about why Owen chose frontier medicine over comfortable Earth postings. Owen deflected at first, then offered partial truth about loss and needing distance from memories. "You run from pain," Zayra observed, "but you run toward danger helping others." Contradiction. Humans are walking contradictions. We're really good at it. Threnari value consistency, predictability. Your species confuses us with your flexibility. Flexibility kept you alive when rigid Threnari medical protocols couldn't reach you in time, Owen pointed out. Sometimes adaptation beats consistency. Zayra was silent for a moment. "You are challenging worldview I have held my entire life." "Sorry, happens a lot apparently. I'm very disruptive to worldviews." Her ears angled in what Owen now recognized as genuine amusement. "I begin to see why." The crisis came on day 9, when Threnari command ordered Zayra's immediate transfer despite incomplete recovery. Political pressure had reached critical mass. Threnari conservatives were humiliated that their decorated commander remained in human care. The transport arrived with a senior Threnari officer who dismissed Owen's medical objections with barely concealed contempt. "You are human nurse. You have no authority over Threnari military personnel. Commander Zayra will be transferred immediately." "She's not medically cleared for transport." Transfer could compromise her recovery, potentially cause complications. Your concern is noted and dismissed. Prepare the commander for immediate departure. Owen looked at Zayra, who'd remained silent during the exchange. This is your decision. Medically, I recommend another week of recovery before transport, but I can't force you to stay. Zayra met his eyes, then addressed the Threnari officer in their clicking language. The exchange was heated, rapid, and ended with the officer's ears flattening in submission. "What did you say?" Owen asked after the officer left stiffly. "I told him I was not leaving until my attending medical professional cleared me as fit for transport. That you saved my life through skill and courage, and I would not dishonor that by allowing politics to override medical judgment." Zayra's ears angled forward, defiance. "I outrank him. He cannot compel my departure." "You just caused yourself significant political problems to stay in my care another week." "Yes, but you caused yourself significant political problems to save my life. It seems we both choose medical ethics over political convenience." She managed a slight smile. "Perhaps your flexibility is contagious." Owen returned her smile. "Worst disease I could possibly spread." During that final week, something shifted between them. Professional respect becoming genuine friendship built on mutual regard earned through crisis. On her departure day, fully recovered, Zayra asked Owen to walk with her to the transport. Away from soldiers and staff, she removed a small medallion from her uniform. "This marks you as having rendered service to Threnari Command. It means if you are ever in Threnari space, you will be treated with respect and assistance. And it means I owe you debt that can never be fully repaid." Owen looked at the honor token. "I don't need payment. You were a patient. I'm a nurse. That's the whole transaction. To you, perhaps. To me, you are the human who showed that healing transcends politics. That compassion exists even in those we are taught to distrust." Her ears angled in deep respect. "Thank you, Owen Clarke, for seeing person who needed help instead of enemy to abandon." She boarded her transport, and Owen returned to his routine at Meridian. But the honor token hung in his workspace, and everything had changed. 6 months after Commander Zayra's departure, Owen was treating a minor cargo accident when the comm lit up with an encrypted Threnari military channel, unprecedented for a civilian medical station. "Doctor." Kamara took the call, then found Owen in the supply room looking confused. "There's a Threnari military transport requesting permission to dock. They have injured personnel and are specifically asking for you. For me, by name. Said Commander Zayra authorized them to seek your medical assistance." Kamara's expression was unreadable. "What did you do, Owen?" "I helped someone who needed it. Apparently, that was more revolutionary than I thought." The injured Threnari was a young soldier, barely into adulthood, caught in a training accident that had gone catastrophically wrong. Energy weapon malfunction, severe burns, compromised respiratory system, eerily similar to Zayra's injuries. The soldier's commanding officer explained tersely. "Nearest Threnari medical facility is 5 hours distant." Commander Zayra said if we were ever in human space with critical injuries, to seek the human nurse who saved her life. She said you could be trusted. The young soldier was terrified, his ears flat against his skull, eyes wide as Owen approached. "I know you're scared," Owen said gently, showing him the medallion hanging from his workstation. "Commander Zayra trusts me. She survived my care. You will too. Let me help you." Recognition flickered in the soldier's eyes. The honor token carried weight. He nodded permission. Owen worked with the same careful determination he'd shown with Zayra, adapting protocols, improvising solutions, talking the frightened soldier through each step. 6 hours later, the soldier was stable, recovering, alive. The commanding officer approached Owen afterward, his ears angled in respect. "You have our gratitude. Commander Zayra spoke truth about your skill." "How is the commander?" Owen asked. "Thriving. Your treatment left no complications." "She has been different since returning. more questioning of old ways. She recently authorized emergency medical cooperation protocols between Threnari and human forces in border regions. Unprecedented decision that many attribute to her experience in your care. Owen felt something warm settle in his chest. She's changing policy. She argues that if human nurse can save Threnari commander with primitive tools and courage, then perhaps cooperation has value beyond what tradition teaches. Not everyone agrees, but she is persuasive. The officer hesitated. 3 weeks ago, group of human colonists were stranded in Threnari space with injured. Commander Zayra personally ensured they received medical treatment and safe passage home. She said it was debt owed and lessons learned from human nurse. After they left, Dr. Kamara found Owen sitting in the recovery room, still processing. You saved one life and changed diplomatic policy, Kamara observed. Not bad for someone who's just a nurse. I didn't change policy. I just refused to let someone die when I could help them. Zayra did the rest. You showed her that compassion could exist across enemy lines. That healing doesn't require permission from politicians. Kamara sat beside him. That's more revolutionary than you realize. 2 months later, another Threnari arrived, not injured but carrying a message directly from Commander Zayra. It was brief, written in careful galactic standard. Human nurse Owen Clarke. Your example continues to challenge and change. 3 more Threnari medical facilities now accept human patients in emergencies. 4 human stations accept Threnari wounded. Small changes but growing. All because you chose to help when abandoning would be easier. Debt remains unpayable, but I continue trying to honor it. Your friend, Commander Zayra. Owen hung the message beside the honor token. Months became a year. The medical cooperation protocols expanded. More Threnari soldiers arrived at Meridian with injuries, specifically requesting the human nurse Commander Zayra trusts. More human casualties were treated in Threnari facilities without incident. The wounded became bridges. Each life saved was another crack in the walls of suspicion. One evening, Owen was updating patient files when a young human colonist asked him about the Threnari honor token and the message. How did you do it? The colonist asked. Change their minds about us. I didn't change their minds. I just refused to let politics determine who deserves medical care. Owen glanced at the token. Commander Zayra did the hard part, taking what she learned and using it to challenge her entire culture's assumptions. But you started it by saving her. I started nothing, I just did my job. Owen smiled slightly. Sometimes that's enough. The colonist left and Owen returned to his files. But he paused, looking at the honor token and Zayra's message, thinking about the young soldier he'd treated that morning.